Well, here they come. The gladiators emerge from the tunnel into this wet Manchester night. What a night for Brian McDermott and Roy Simmons, the coaches, in their first seasons with their respective clubs. And they have got their men to the biggest night of the year. And not one of the players is looking at that trophy. Superstition tells you, don't look at it, don't touch it, don't get involved in it until the end of the next 80 minutes.
It's all about the power, and they know it in these conditions, but it's also the nerves. Many players out there, including this one, Paul Helens, has got so much experience of grand finals. But there are a few, and we questioned it last week, Eddie, didn't we, when St Helens played Wigan. How would the youngsters like Jamie Foster, Lee Gaskell and Johnny Lomax, how would they handle it? Remember, early in that game, they were nervous and they looked it. And in fact, Wigan played on Foster. They kicked towards him, scored the first try. But full credit to the youngsters in St Helens colours. They fought their way back and pulled off a tremendous victory.
It's a big night for Phil Bentham, who is in charge at Wembley. He's in charge tonight. He heads off to Australia next week to take control of the Australia-New Zealand Test, the match that those two nations will play before the Four Nations tournament gets underway here in a few weeks' time. That's International Rugby League. This is the cream of the crop domestically. It's the biggest night, and these players have been building up to this for over 11 months. Tonight is the night for St Helens and Leeds, and it's going to be Leeds who will get the game kicked off. Sinfield's boot, we're underway! Helens is underneath the kickoff. Here's Pulatua, what a chase from the Leeds Rhinos.
It's always good to get the first impact in, and you can see Peacock there, really interested. Clarkson going high. This is the man that Leeds know they've got to stop. If he gains momentum going over the advantage line, James Graham, he knows he can set it up for the likes of James Roby.
There is Roby at dummy half as Paul Clough gets to his feet, plays the ball to him. Wilkin is the runner on the diagonal, but Peacock and Clarkson stood their ground. Kick from Roby on the fourth tackle, pounced by Brent Webb.
Well, the idea was there, but it wasn't the best kick. Fullback Brent Webb read it absolutely superb, and he's come up with the error. Oh, and that is a big, big mistake.
Well, he's claiming, I think, that Roby had hold of him, and he did, as he got up to play the ball.
But he's got to regain his feet before he can place the ball down. That could very well have been a penalty. Phil Bentham just waved it away, but the rules state quite clearly that when the tackle has been completed, you have to regain your feet before you put the ball, and you can see there, he wanted to get on with it quickly, and you can't really blame Roby because he wanted to fulfill the tackle.
Well, it's exactly what we spoke about, Eddie. Kick the ball early like James Roby did, force a mistake out of the opponents, and this is your reward. Great attacking position.
It is, and Paul Clough will drive it in. It's his first starting appearance in the grand final. Roby is the dummy half. Here is Wilkin, one of the engineers-in-chief for the Saints. Roby's another. And this now is Gaskell, attacking the line. Gaskell spins away from the tackles. Very important tackle by Jamie Jones-Buchanan. Roby, Lomax. Lomax tried to jink his way to the line. Held up by three and forced to the ground. Last tackle here for Saints, this set of six. After the knock-on by Webb, Roby delays, finds Gaskell, tries to slide the kick through, and it's arrived in the arms of Delaney, and Delaney's got all of Saints after him, and Gaskell gets to him, and the aquaplane's 10 metres forward.
Great work there by Jamie Foster, the winger. He had to track back. Delaney did not have the legs, but look at the position that the Rhinos put themselves in now. Well, I pose a question, Eddie. Would they play it safe in wet conditions? The answer is no. Both sides want to give it some air.
And Leeds now in danger zone for St Helens. This is Sinfield. Down he goes in a crunching tackle by Wilkin and Roby. Now Badiris, Peacock to Maguire. Maguire back, it comes to Webb. One-handed, how did he pick that out of the air? He'll hang up this time and play the ball properly. Now Maguire again, dabs it into the in-goal area, looking for Ryan Hall. And I think that's been shepherded over the dead ball line by Wellens.
He made a decision very late, did Paul Wellens, but he realised that he was still bubbling in the in-goal area. This is the Webb, this is the penalty. No doubt about it, it should have been. Look at the turn it round. What's this? Delaney makes the break. Watch for Foster coming across. Good job he did. Great stuff. What a start to this grand final.
Well, they haven't got any points, but a big positive for St Helens is that their two young halfbacks, Gaskell and Lomax, have both taken the ball to the Leeds defenders and been tackled in possession. They've had some physical contact, Eddie, and that should settle the nerves.
How about the water that came up off the pitch? This is one of the best pitches in the world, Old Trafford, but there is some water sitting on top at the moment, and Lulawai will take it, and he bounces off Soliola. Graham is there.
Bit of a problem. I think Soliola has picked up an injury in that.
Maguire gets the pass away to Jamie Jones-Buchanan. Badiris scampers into dummy half. They come the short side, and this is Ablett. He got the first try last week at Warrington, nearly got the first try in the grand final. Webb to Sinfield, he'll dab the kick through, and that was tapped backwards by Wilkin.
Good work by the experienced second rower as well, realised that he could just slow it down. Fortunately went behind him, they're under the cosh, but this is where the big fellas are going to start taking it out.
Well, the opening 4 minutes, exhilarating, absolutely breathless.
Stunning. A bit of a worry for Leeds as they start making a mistake coming off their own line. They did it against Warrington last week and they didn't get punished. They'll be keen to not complete errors like that in the rest of this game, Eddie. Brent Webb on that occasion, they need to be almost 100% completion rate coming off their own line.
Roby finds Wilkin. Kick goes up and over the top, but straight into the arms of Webb.
That's the second poor kick we've seen from Saints. Roy Simmons, their coach, will not be happy with that. In these wet conditions, you keep it low, it'll skid for about 30, 40 metres.
Oh, and there was nearly a fumble from Ryan Hall. Graham gets him low down. He's finished off by Shenton. Badiris had the game of his life for Leeds last week. This is Lulawai.
Yeah, it's one of the things that Roy Simmons was looking at. He knows how very dangerous Danny Badiris is, but James Roby, that battle between the two hookers tonight will be superb.
Badiris finds Sinfield, who pops it up to Peacock. And Brian McDermott, almost a rarity, an English coach in the grand final. High kick from Sinfield here. This is a tester for Makinson. Oh, he takes it like a veteran, the 19-year-old. Turns 20 on Monday.
Great take, but it appeared to me as though Michael Shenton was taken out off the ball. But what a take by the youngster. That will settle nerves. This guy will drive in time and time again. Leeds really have, this is the take by the winger. I must say that Leeds are doing a pretty good job on Graham. Graham likes to get to ground quickly and then recover and give the chance for Roby to scoot away at the dummy half position.
Gaskell inside the 40, that was off the outside of the boot. Finds the ground, so it makes it very greasy for Webb to pick up. And again, a kick early in the tackle count on tackle number 4. Great defence, though, from the Saints. Who did that come off? I think it came off Saints. This is going to be head and feed to Leeds.
Yeah, it is. Webb took the gamble. You see, just touched the fingertips of Michael Shenton. And you can see that Ryan Hall was trying to indicate to the official Phil Bentham that Shenton did get some sort of a hand to it.
You know, St Helens are aware of how dangerous Brent Webb can be, and I think one of the reasons why they're giving him the ball in that situation, although obviously he has to run the ball back and there's a risk element there, they think in that part of the field they can take some of his juice out of him and maybe tire him for when he gets into an attacking part of the field.
Zach Hardaker wrestled to the ground by Soliola. Badiris and Peacock gets Leeds over halfway, but only just. That's 3 tackles gone, this set of 6. It's with Sinfield, the skipper. Maguire finds Jamie Jones-Buchanan. He finds Ablett, who in turn finds Ryan Hall. Makinson with a great tackle, it went forward, that pass.
Sheer
Makinson, the young man with the try-saver on Hall.
He had the speed, Ryan Hall, but he knows it was a panic pass back on the inside. Gets away through. He had the fullback Brent Webb there, but he would have done better to have gone to the ground and then relaunched an attack. Well, even the most experienced players, real panic taken over there by the winger.
None of the top 8 teams in the playoffs in the Super League throw more passes to score their tries this season, Eddie, and it looks as though Leeds are going to continue with that philosophy. Here in pretty atrocious conditions and still relatively early in the match, they're willing to pass the ball both to the right with Ben Jones-Bishop and to the left to the most dangerous player that they have, Ryan Hall.
Yes, indeed, Leeds' surge to the grand final must really have embarrassed some of the Dream Team judges. The Rhinos had no one in the Dream Team for the first time since 1997. But boy, have they come good at just the right stage of the campaign. That's a tremendous kick again on tackle number 4.
Yeah,
Ben Jones-Bishop to work this ball away if he can.
Much better there from Lee Gaskell. He's settling down, and the chase was good, and that's great defence. You've got to admire the way that Sia Soliola goes very, very low in the tackle.
Danny Maguire plays it. Badiris gets it away to Jamie Jones-Buchanan. Not the best pass, but well held by Ryan Hall. Look, I don't want to hex the players of either side, but hasn't the ball security so far been outstanding in these conditions?
It certainly has, but we were worried about whether it was just going to be a kick and chase game. It's far from that. And they obviously feel that there's a little bit of a problem out wide with Tommy Makinson, the young winger. They've been coming down on their left-hand side on attack of the Rhinos.
Wellens makes sure the ball is steady for the pickup. Brings it forward, Sinfield and Maguire. Makinson, the dummy half, will scamper away, but just loses his footing at the vital time. 6 in a row for Saints, a record 9th grand final in all, and both of these teams hoping for a 5th grand final triumph. And for St Helens, it would be their first since 2006. They have suffered and suffered here. They don't want to go through the same agony tonight. Pulatua with a drive.
Good build-up as well, using the big fella out wide. Now then, will it be high or will they just keep it low? Interesting on this final kick.
Up it goes very high from the boot of Gaskell, and it's Ben Jones-Bishop underneath it. Did well actually, because that really did go high.
Well, this is a great start to a game. This is how you want to start finals, Eddie. You got to complete high. You got to get to your kicks. You got to force your opponents to bring their ball off their line. St Helens are doing that wonderfully well in the first 10 minutes of this game.
Zach Hardacre ducked underneath the swinging arm from Pulatua.
Looking to get away with that. Didn't make contact. Intent.
Ablett skips away from Lomax. Gets it wide to Ryan Hall, and Hall, even in the greasy conditions, manages to stay within the field of play. Maguire. Charged down, back to 0 in the tackle count. The referee wipes the count clear, so Webb will hang on to it and take this tackle.
Great defence by Saints on that wide, on that left-hand side. There's a ricochet. I'm not so sure that James Graham actually moved towards that. Anyway, Rhinos have the opportunity. Only one clean break throughout this game so far.
Peacock to his feet, plays the ball to Badiris. Sinfield, he almost stepped through the challenge, but Roby held on to him. Here is Maguire, great ball to Jamie Jones-Buchanan, closed down immediately by Lomax. Oh, he gets it away, he smuggles it clear somehow. Sinfield picks up the pieces, now it's Maguire.
Good job that Graham went through him, he threw the dummy.
Last one here for Leeds. Ablett, Sinfield. Kick all along the ground, difficult for Lomax to pick up, but he made sure he protected the ball.
Did well, put his body between the onrushing defenders.
And look where Leeds turn over possession, right on the St Helens goal line. The young player of the year, 2011, Johnny Lomax.
And he did very well there, Eddie, as well. What we'll see in these wet weather conditions is players will go down on a ball and they'll get pushed back into the in goal or pushed over the sidelines. Johnny Lomax did very well to dive on that ball and stay static.
Graham doesn't want to die wondering, does he? He will leave St Helens at the end of this game and head off to the NRL in Australia with the Canterbury club. We'll miss him. We'll miss him in the Super League, but hopefully he will be very much involved in all the internationals.
Well, the one thing that Roy Simmons, the Saints coach, has got to do is try to share the workload, because they're giving far too much for the prop forward, James Graham. Some of the other forwards have got to take that responsibility. We know he's got a big engine as a prop forward, Graham, but he could run out of steam at this rate.
Leeds have already played in one cup final this year down at Wembley. What have they learnt from that experience? Well, it seems to me that they've started this game with better control, in particular the fact that territorially they're winning the match. More of it's being played in St Helens half of the field.
It is now with Sinfield, who finds Maguire. He tries to go inside Gaskell. He backs his way to the 20-metre mark.
Wait, Tony, come on. Go on, that's it.
And there's Hardaker, who finds the skipper, Sinfield, wide and high, looking for Ryan Hall, who he found Hall, but Hall just couldn't take the pass, couldn't take the kick.
And again, they're putting the pressure on Tommy Makinson, and he was a little bit dodgy, I must say. You see, he was going to go up and dive for it very, very late. Hall just got the fingertips.
So Saints in possession again with Roby, one of the nominees for Man of Steel, and untidy play the ball, and an untidy play the ball because there was interference, and it's the first penalty of the grand final.
Well, not bad, 13 and a half minutes, or nearly 14 anyway, and there was interference, but Dearest did pull him down. This will be a relieving 30-40 metres downfield, and it's not a bad kick either.
A good kick by Gaskell. The 30-metre line of the Leeds Rhinos is where they begin this latest assault, and this is Pulatua. 0-0 in the grand final, 14 gone. Chances either end though, and here is Roby, who finds Gaskell. Short ball, and he did well then, Wilkin. Peacock made sure he wasn't going any further forward. Here comes Graham. Now then, St Helens 5 metres short of the line. Roby going the short side. Gaskell.
Oh, golden opportunity there. It was Sinfield that got his body in the line. No advantage there. Sinfield got to the big fella, that is for sure. I think he might have got an elbow in the upper region.
Well, there's a Leeds Rhinos fan or two watching in 3D tonight. They brought their glasses to the ground. Sadly, the big screen is not in 3D, but if you're watching in the pubs and clubs around the country today, and at home, of course, in 3D, I'm sure that you are enjoying this.
For both sides, they're finding it very, very difficult to get good meters forward.
Out and back in, play on. One, move, hold, go.
Jamie Jones-Buchanan.
Move, go to.
Luluai.
Well, we expected that both defences would be quite dominant, especially in the opening quarter. There's some brutal exchanges out there, that's for sure. Good work by Medeiros.
Great run. And he gets the ball away. It's untidy, but it finds its way to Maguire.
Leeds players claiming that it was a St Helens hand that touched, not according to Bentham.
Chip over the top by Webb, and Makinson again has to run this ball out.
That's a
As
tremendous
well does
kick
Tommy
and chase.
Makinson. It's a great kick and chase, but Makinson did well.
Just in that last set, we saw another reason why Leeds are here tonight. The ability to offload late in the tackle. And if players like Maguire can pick it up, maybe Rob Burrow when he comes on, the late offload has killed so many of their opponents, created so many of the tries, and is where very often the Rhinos really hurt their opponents.
Here's Lomax.
40, clear, 10 seconds.
Right down the middle of the field. One bounce, and Ben Jones-Bishop will run this ball forward.
One, move. Hold James, hold mate. Go, good. One.
This is Ryan Hall.
2, move, Johnny, 10. Goal 2.
Maguire gets it away. Webb. Lomax does well. Maguire. Peacock. started this game well, Leeds, haven't they?
They certainly have, and they've applied the pressure, but you'd think it was sun shining out there. They are playing dry weather rugby league football, and it's entertaining. It's tough and it's strong, but you don't expect anything else. This has got to be a high kick, surely.
It's with Sinfield, and up it goes, off the boot high. Jamie Foster's underneath this. It's been palmed back by Leeds. Ben Jones-Bishop chips it in field, and Wellens, Mr. Dependable for St Helens.
Well, a poor finish. It was a really good high kick. Put a lot of pressure onto it. They palmed it back, but then the finish was poor. Straight into the arms of Wellens. Can't afford to do that.
LMS is on the field. Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook.
This is a great start to the game, Eddie. We haven't 17 minutes gone. We haven't seen a score yet. Another early tackle kick from St Helens. But this will take the energy out of players. The high tempo this game has been played. They haven't had many breaks. We should see it loosen up later in the game.
That's a fantastic chase by Foster, because that ball was heading for a 40-20 almost, and Ben Jones-Bishop had to stop it with his foot, and Foster came hurrying up the field. And there is a bit of slip sliding by Carl Ablett. Rod Studd absolutely right. Couldn't hang on to this.
Yeah, good impact there. Shenton low, and then the big fella James Graham just dislodging the ball. But we knew it was going to be tight, and no opportunity either side in regards to taking a shot for a penalty. And if it does come, I'm sure that both coaches, Simmons and McDermott, will say we'll take the two on offer. That's how tight it is.
If St Helens are running on their memory bank, they will remember emphatic wins home and away against Leeds this year. 30 points to 16 at Headingley, 42-16 at their temporary home of Widnes.
Both games though, Eddie, when you look at the final score, don't tell you the full story. 6-4 at half-time, was it, when they last met 4 months ago? Much closer for St Helens. They'll open out in that second half. They're looking to open out here to the left.
They go there with Roby and Lomax and Gaskell and Wellens, and he gets it to Francis Melly, and the pass from Melly wasn't good. But did that touch a Leeds hand? That's what Wellens is claiming. It was touched by Leeds, and he's got the decision from Phil Bentham.
Yeah, it has. Ben Jones-Bishop sticks the right arm out and does get the ricochet, and that will apply more pressure to the Rhinos.
Well, it's taken 20 minutes, but they're starting the second consecutive set of possession inside Leeds half the field. That sort of building pressure, isn't it? We haven't been turning to this end of the field very often. We've got 6 players here now to try and put some points.
Lomax just lost his footing at the vital moment.
Well, St Helens have utilised the crisscross, the one that's coming back on the angle. They normally use Wilkin, and I think they might be setting up for this as well.
Clough will play it here to Roby. There's the pass to Graham. He finds Lomax, then it's short and flat to Wilkin. Leeds were waiting in numbers. Roby just weighing up the options both ways. Thinks he's coming into the centre field. He does to Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook.
Oh, he must be close.
Very close. Roby again. The ball. Oh, that's a knock on. The Saints fans at the other end think he scored, Roby. Clough puts his hand up. Was this a knock on? Did it come backwards?
Yeah, that's classified as a knock on, don't worry. To lose control when you're using the body right through.
Well, in the first half of the season, Eddie, and in the game when they met 4 months ago, St Helens scored in that sort of manner. Just the defence brushed away in the middle of the field. But Leeds have changed in the last 2 months. They're stronger in the middle, and I think defensively their attitude has improved to such an extent that now St Helens cannot score with that simple play.
So head and feed to Leeds at the scrum. Look where they are though. Hardacre trying to get out of jail and almost getting away from Melly. Sinfield. Leeds playing at a very quick tempo.
Certainly Aberdeen is controlling that in and around the ruck area.
It's It's the big men now trundling it forward. Jamie Peacock, record holder for most grand final wins with 6, 3 with the Bulls, 3 with the Leeds Rhinos. This is his 9th grand final in 11 years, Jamie Peacock. And Sinfield with a kick, low, but it bounces in front of Foster, who traps it with the foot before moving forward and trying to go inside Hardacre and Ben Jones-Bishop.
Pretty confident defence as well by Leeds. Interesting now, they have changed their time. That's got to be a penalty. 2-on-1, reefed away. Hardacre it was, I think, that got the arm in.
Yeah, he just saw the ball sitting up there in front of him, look, and couldn't resist.
Didn't realise that Ben Jones-Bishop was still hanging on to him. Well spotted by Phil Bentham, who I must say is allowing the play to continue on.
It's a real standoff, Steve-O, isn't it? Just waiting for each other to make a mistake. None of them showing too much. Some fairly straightforward play, just waiting for one of these defences to crack and possibly get in and get over the line.
Well, in the previous meetings between these two clubs this year, by this stage of the match, we had seen a try. Is one coming here? And certainly in the 3 grand finals. And Leon Price has played in many of those. Here is a penalty to St Helens. We might not see a try. We might see the first points of the grand final, though.
I think I'd take it too, and I think that's what they're going to do. It was interesting to see there, not just one of the players to turn round towards the coach, but every single one out there in the red and white strip turned and to get the advice from the coach. Jamie Peacock not happy about something.
Well, he's never happy if he's going to go behind in a match, and the odds are that with Foster in front of the sticks here, Jamie Peacock's men will go 2 points behind. Jamie Foster, a 2nd successive grand final for this young man, and he got a goal last year against Wigan. He kicked 5 from 6 against Wigan last week, plus a try. He's kicked, or rather he has scored 32 points against Leeds this year, and 24 of 25 previous goal kicks against Leeds have found the mark. I think this is going to maintain that sort of record. Bang in front. Saints lead 2-0.
And that'll settle the nerves as well by the youngster Jamie Foster. Roy Simmons, it was obvious, wasn't it? This is going to be a really tight game. As Eddie mentioned earlier, you know, it could have been the try perhaps will come from, say, a mishap, a drop ball, missed tackle. In tight conditions, that's the circumstances that normally bring points on the board, but they've taken the good option there. St Helens take a 2-0 lead.
Makinson picked that kick-off up very well indeed off his knees.
Hold, Leeds. Hold. Go quicker, Jamie. Come on. 2. Move. Wait. Go. Well back. Well back.
So Rob Burrow about to come into this match. This is Roby. Big kick downfield. Brent Webb underneath it. Two coaches are interesting tonight. Brian McDermott, the Leeds Rhinos coach, he was in the Great Britain side that won on this ground, the 2nd Super League test against Australia in '97. And Roy Simmons, he played here in Australia's first test win in 1986. So they both have some experience of the unique atmosphere that is the theatre of dreams.
You know, Eddie, what St Helens have tried to do, in addition to taking the 2 points, they also got a 60-second rest, and they're trying to use that now to their advantage in putting some pressure here on Leeds as they rush forward the ball. But the Rhinos with Danny Medeiros just seem to have won their first penalty.
Yes, they have. First penalty for Leeds.
I think it's a little bit too far out for Sinfield to go for the pot shot, so I think no, it looks he may be. Yeah, well, that's interesting. It's
well, he fancies himself, obviously, Kevin Sinfield, and why wouldn't he? The goal-kicking record this fella's got. I mean, apart from anything else, Kevin Sinfield has claimed another record here tonight. He's captain of a grand final team for a 6th time. Kevin Sinfield.
interference.
Here's the reason why the penalty came about. Soliola, that's
Well, it's
silly.
a silly play, yeah. Badiris looked to the official, and Bentham had already said they'll give the penalty to the Rhinos.
Eddie, you asked everybody at the start of the game who they thought they'd win, and we all thought there was very little to separate them. If Kevin Sinfield gets this kick, there'll be 2-2 in this game with a large portion of the first half played. I haven't seen anything in this first period of the game that can tell me either of these teams is going to win this game. I've seen nothing that will tell me there's a clear favourite out of this. Very, very evenly matched.
Yes, it's tight as a drum. And Kevin Sinfield with this first attempt from him, described this week by Gary Hetherington, the chief executive of the Leeds Rhinos, as rugby's greatest goal kicker. And I think maybe from what we saw in the Antipodes this morning, perhaps he is absolutely on the money, Gary Hetherington. What a kick in these conditions from Kevin Sinfield.
He's a cool customer, that is for sure.
And he's played and scored in each and every one of Leeds' 36 matches this year now.
And you only have to point to the fact that the vital goal that he kicked last week against Warrington, you talk about the pressure, and this guy certainly knows how to handle it.
Thumbs up and a wink.
Yep.
Well, he's at about 10 metres. He cleared the post by about 10 metres. So if he does come down to a big kick at the end of the game, near the halfway line, you can say that Kevin Sinfield tonight has got the power in his boot to put it over.
And wasn't it interesting to see there that the Leeds skipper said this will be a swirling ball because they make sure they get it, and that's well taken by Danny Maguire.
Great chase from the kick-off, though. Such a hang time on Jamie Foster's restarts. Look where Leeds begin this set of 6 from. And Soliola flying in on Bailey. That's an awful play of the ball, but there's interference there.
Just a second grab, not the best there. Soliola and Moore involved. And this is a relieving penalty there by the Rhinos. They'll be very, very happy of that. Already done it. Soliola had a little grab, and so did Scott Moore.
So Jamie Jones-Buchanan will start this next set of 6 for the Rhinos.
Well, we see Danny Badiris there. He's controlling the ruck area, but I think you might find in the next couple of plays that the super sub, Rob Barrow, he may jink in.
Sinfield, Maguire, good ball. And they claw at him and bring him down. It was Brett Delaney. Badiris again, scampering run. Maguire, brilliant. Danny Maguire just short of the line. Badiris, here's Webb. Now it's with Sinfield, back on the inside, Delaney again. Last tackle here for Leeds. They're 10 metres away from the line. Burrow, back it comes to Webb. Webb stabs the kick in, looking for Ablett. That ball, what's happened there? Has it come free? No, Wellens has grounded it.
Far too experienced to the fullback, Paul Wellens, to be beaten for that. Ablett applied the pressure, and Paul Wellens solid as a rock.
That's such good full-back play. I mean, we sometimes don't give it the appreciation it deserves. That's brave play, it's skillful play by Paul Wellens, and it's why he's been St Helens number one for so long.
And Leeds have just forced their second goal line dropout.
Well, territorially, they're gaining their advantage, but you've got to turn it into points, isn't it, in this sport? I like the way that they're passing the ball left and right, and as the players start to fatigue slightly, Burrow and Maguire's footwork and pace looks more and more dangerous for me.
Badiris is scheming all the time. He just pops it up for Bailey to drive it in. Oh, and a knock on by Bailey.
Sheer pressure, wet conditions. Just lost it. Never attempted to play it correctly.
Just trying to get on with it too quickly for the conditions, really.
Yeah, we saw it earlier, didn't we? Brent Webb did exactly the same thing. And it's a good ploy as well by the Rhinos, because they know that Danny Badiris is this is his last game for the Leeds club, and he's in top form, that's for sure.
Roby scampered away from that scrum. Got the pass from Lomax. Lomax then in at dummy half. Here's Soliola again. Sia Soliola playing here tonight. Last year when he played in the grand final, it was only his 6th appearance for St Helens. Scott Moore's out there, he's on halfway as he plays the ball here on tackle number 3. Great work by Hardaker, and Roby has lost it. Look at the celebrations from the Leeds Rhinos, by the way, the back of your screen there, to this great tackle. Actually, there's a bit of a strip there. It's a one-on-one, it's allowed.
Well, Roby's claiming that shouldn't be a knock-on, but I think he went backwards. Hardaker, that's fine.
He's dragging it, isn't he, one way? Anyway, it's Leeds head and feed. That's why Carl Ablett has it. 2-2 in the grand final.
Yeah, both sides are searching for that weakness, but there's not many. Ooh, that could have been drifting forward slightly. Lack of concentration there by Badiris.
Straight off, James, come on.
Bailey.
Neither side utilising dummy runners as much as we've seen from both of these teams throughout the year. Good work by Badiris. Can he get up and play quickly? Yes, he can.
It's Burrow. Burrow finds Jamie Jones-Buchanan. He took that ball brilliantly. Good tackle by Shenton. Here's Badiris again. Sinfield inside to Maguire.
Boy, Shenton's on fire in the defence.
The turnover.
They took the gamble. Not often Leeds play the power play. But I suppose when you've got your oppositions close to their own goal line, it's not a bad ploy.
This is relentless. We turn the ball over, possession changes hands, and straight away the defenders go into attack. It takes pressure, it takes energy out of these plays. This grand final so far has been outstanding. The pace at which it's been played, the manner in which it's been played by the players is a credit to them all.
Certainly is. It's a privilege to be here as Moore takes it forward.
And it's a credit to both coaches as well, because the discipline in defence has been good. That's the reason why there's been very few breaks.
Gastel's kick is pouched by Ryan Hall. He'll try and return this with interest. Ran straight at Shenton. Standing firm defensively, Michael Shenton. Ben Jones-Bishop.
It's a great test for the patience of players like Johnny Lomax and Lee Gaskell, really. Obviously, for the other team, Kevin Sinfield's been there, seen it and done it all before. They're aware of this grinding, relentless game that could take a 79th minute before we get a winner.
Oh, he's stepped under than Burrow, and he's outstripped Wellens. It's a brilliant Burrow try, a fantastic Rob Burrow try. He is a jack in the box, this fellow. He won the Man of the Match award against St Helens here in 2007. He's got the St Helens crowd sitting on their hands at the moment, but the Leeds Rhinos fans are on their feet. That was an outstanding individual try from this fellow. Rob Burrow, 11th of the season. Last week against Warrington, he got his first playoff try since 2007. Here's the second.
They were caught napping there. They really should have pushed up. They said that they had the good concentration defence, but I'm afraid on that occasion the prop forward, Tony Puletuya, he went early and left a huge gap. Take nothing away from the set from this magnificent little halfback. Beep Beep has done it again. Celebration all round, and why not? Danny Maguire, look at the smile on his face. This little fella. A lot of people, including myself, is complaining that why on earth they didn't start with Rob Burrow, but Brian McDermott says it's a super sub.
And Sinfield adds the extras. And Rob Burrow has maintained the record that we've had a try in the first half of each and every grand final.
Well, he looked a little bit like Lionel Messi, didn't he, on this famous football ground. Close to the ground with fantastic balance and the ability to change direction as defenders are coming at him. Just enough speed there to score as he got close to the goals.
And little Rob Burrow, watching himself on the screen here at Old Trafford, loves what he sees. And maybe that's why Brian McDermott keeps him on the bench, throws him on to make the impact. And what an impact.
It certainly does. I mean, he's just a classy player. But you saw there that Tony Puletuya, he was slow to get into the line, and that forced Scott Moore to come out of it and try to get him. He tried the swinging arm. There's only one way to stop Beep Beep, and that's round the ankles.
That's a very, very special try. Not just to duck through the line and beat some very good defenders. The footwork he put on Paul Wellens to finish off that try, the speed at which he changed directions. That's as good a try as you'll see in a grand final, an individual try, Eddie.
And the doubts, no doubt, will come at the back of the St Helens mind and thinking, here we go again.
No, there's a long way to go, Eddie. I think if it was this position in the second half, yes, they'd have to dig and be desperate, try to force the issue, but they know they've got plenty of time. Patience is going to be the key now. Roy Simmons will get that message out. Stick to the game plan.
Big deep kick here from Gaskell. He's gone for a 40-20, just hasn't quite got that.
Came off the side of the boot. And you can see the amount of energy that is draining out there for both sides. No one, and I mean no one, is rushing to set this scrum.
It has. It's been an exhausting first half in the most trying conditions. There's not been too many knock-ons, has there? There's not been too many mistakes.
Not very much time to rest, Eddie. It's been a high-tempo game. I'll tell you what, though, Leeds will not, or St Helens will not want to go into this half-time break any further behind than this to Leeds.
Hold, Saints, hold. Goal one.
Delaney will drive it forward again for the Rhinos. What a surge they've had to get to the grand final.
Well, they often say, Eddie, momentum is a key factor. It's been virtually sudden death all the way through, and they have really responded well.
Jamie Jones-Buchanan.
That was
forward pass. Yes, it was.
Good position there by Phil Bentham. And again, Leeds relentless coming down here, and that's the reason. You know, Michael Shenton, and he's had to put in a huge effort in defence.
No question that was forward.
Yep.
Well, Jamie Jones-Buchanan's pass judged forward, but well, Brian McDermott, as I mentioned earlier, an English, a British coach, only the fourth British coach to get to an Old Trafford Grand Final, and only the next hour or so will tell us whether he has masterminded Leeds' late end-of-season run to perfection.
I made the point, Eddie, about that Leeds are making Shenton work overtime. He's come up with 16 tackles already, and he's leader of the pack as far as they're concerned in defence.
Pulatua will play the ball. Roby. Gaskell. Here is Lomax. Lomax gets it away to Dixon. Try off the bench against Wigan here last year, but nothing since in terms of tries for Dixon. Graham doesn't want to go to Australia, a loser.
Going to be high, surely.
Gaskell. Angled, across the face of them. Well claimed by Ryan Hall.
Good position by the winger as well. It's all about team spirit and talking to each other. When a man, they see him out of position, say get back, help.
That was a very dodgy play, the ball, and the referee has penalised Carl Ablett for it. He just put the ball on the deck and stepped over it.
Well, they make things hard for themselves, Leeds. Again, they made these mistakes last week coming out of their own half. An incorrect play of the ball, and the referee's called it right. Can St Helens get on the board before we go into the half-time break?
Well, they're going to try here with Roby. Pops it up to Dixon.
And again, the lack of dummy runners to try to confuse this Leeds defence is, well, it's mystifying.
Just 1.25 minutes to go to the half-time siren, and Lomax trying to jink his way through.
Roby on a skirt, go on his own. Can't get the quick play of the ball.
Roby to Graham. Here is Gaskell. It's opened up for Wellens. It was quickly closed down by Maguire.
What a great tackle that was.
Roby again will come back this way. Pulatua using his strength, and Rob Burrows appealing for some reinforcements on defence out this wide on this right. Roby stabs the ball to the in-goal area, and Leeds defuse it. And they get a goal line dropout. They'll only have 30 seconds in which to try and find something.
And again, resolute defence, isn't it? Very, very quick to react to that. Not the best kick, I suppose, but at least they know they've got a few seconds remaining. This will probably be just a couple of tackles, then maybe the kick into the corner.
First goal line dropout that Saints have forced tonight. Leeds have forced two.
They've got to be careful. You know, Sinfield is a master at putting it low, but he's going to go for the long one. It is low.
But it's straight to Wellens, and here comes Pulatua. The clock's important here. Leeds know that. Saints know that. 20 seconds to the half-time siren. Roby to Graham.
They've got to go after this one, surely.
Back 10. Wait. No. Brent, come on.
This is Wilkin, gets it away to Melly. Melly is tackled. This is the last chance for Saints in this first half. Graham, here's Gaskell. The kick is into the in-goal area, collected by Ryan Hall. He just ambles the ball over the dead ball line, and Roy Simmons turns round in his first Old Trafford Grand Final, trailing by 8 points to 2. Concern on the faces of the St Helens supporters. They have been here so often before. They've been here against Leeds and lost 3 times in a row. That's why they just might have nagging doubts at the back of their mind that perhaps history is repeating itself. It's 8-2 to the Rhinos at half-time. St Helens then will attack from right to left, and they have to come from behind in the grand final. They managed it themselves in 1999. One of only 2 teams to come back from a half-time deficit and lift the Super League trophy. It's been an historic night, it's been an historic year so far. 3rd against 5th. Are Saints about to make yet more history?
I must say, Eddie, that watching the 2 sides in the dressing rooms, I just got the impression that St Helens, their body language was not positive. Completely different, of course, in the Rhinos unit. They look really up for it. Bit of a problem with one of the touch judges.
I think we've had this every week in the playoffs, haven't we?
Yeah.
Well, it has been wet.
An early score now for St Helens is what we really need to see to keep them in this game. I think Leeds will get stronger and stronger, and you always got to remember, when you're in front, you just get that confidence from looking up at the scoreboard, knowing that you're in front, knowing that as the game ticks on, as it gets near, they got to chase you.
Will the game open up in the second 40 minutes? Oh, there's the first mistake of the second half. Ben Jones-Bishop went very casually to collect the kickoff, and it just went over the shoulder.
Do you know what he did, Jamie Foster? He made him move, didn't he? So many kickers, when they restart, kick the ball to where the catcher stood. By making him move, he made the skill of catching it more difficult.
It's an amazing facet of our game of rugby league. That how many times does that occur? Just a lack of concentration. That's all it takes.
So a glorious opportunity for St Helens right at the start of this second half then.
I think Saints need to up the tempo in regards to their forward play.
Dixon. Saints, oh, here's a penalty for St Helens now. Laying on in the tackle, not allowing the Saints man to get to his feet and play the ball.
Yeah, very lazy there. Surely they'll kick into the corner. Well, no, they're going to tap it. Here's Graham taking it up.
It would be manna from heaven, wouldn't it? A try in the opening couple of minutes of the second half for St Helens. Roby looking for the opening. This is Dixon. And down he goes on tackle number 2. 8 metres away from the line. Roby finds Lomax. Here's Graham. Punishing tackle on Graham from Kylie Lulawai. Roby again. Lomax. Gaskell. That's the 4th tackle.
Did well there to spin into it. He knew that if he'd gone a little bit further, he would have been offside with Wilkin, utilising him as a shepherd.
Scott Moore, down he goes. Last one. Roby's waiting. Into centre field. Lomax, not the best pass.
He had the overlap as well. Shenton knew it. He's put the kick through. It's a good one as well.
It is, and Webb will take it over the touch and goal line.
Roy Simmons will be furious about that. They set up tight, got the link working, and it was a final pass that was very poor indeed. Paul Wellens would have been taking that on the full, and Shenton would have been on that short ball.
You know, he's totally redeemed that. Roy Simmons, he'll know that Michael Shenton, with that kick, he's a centre, he's not a recognised kicker. Very, very precise kick, has got them the ball back again.
And Saints have forced 3 successive goal line dropouts in 3 minutes either side of half-time. Now Roby is waiting, and he gives it to Pulatua.
The one thing the Saints have to do as well is to start to get up and play this ball a little bit quicker. That's where Roby becomes so effective.
This is Dixon. Dixon is wrestled to the ground by Ablett. Roby, Lomax to Gaskell, short ball to Wilkin. How did he hang on to that, John Wilkin?
Under pressure there. Good work by Delaney and Kevin Sinfield.
Graham is about 2 metres away and Leeds shut the gate.
They need a dink into the in-goal area.
Lomax goes wide. He finds Shenton. Shenton again to the in-goal area. Webb will drop on it again. It's another goal line dropout coming up. And the pot is boiling for St Helens.
Well, the pressure that the Leeds Rhinos are soaking up. Well, he didn't like that, Brent Webb, but he has to be tackled.
It's outstanding defence from the Leeds side here. There's no team more dangerous in this competition than St Helens when they get close to your own try line with James Roby, James Graham, Pulatua. And yet, there doesn't seem to be any holes in that Leeds line.
No, very strong Leeds defence, and it's either that's responsible or St Helens' attack hasn't been as sharp as we'd usually expect. There's a few players receiving the ball, Eddie, when they're attacking the Leeds line, and they look like they don't quite know what to do or where to go.
Well, Pulatua knows where to go, right up the middle. Roby is there again, the schemer in chief, gives it to Lomax. Here's Dixon, trying to spin away from Ablett. Jamie Jones-Buchanan was there.
And again, look, St Helens not wanting to get on with the game, not wanting to get a quick play of the ball.
Roby! Almost through, and Ablett just pulled him down. There's the quick play of the ball. Now it's Lomax. Lomax gives it to Gaskell, and Gaskell, well, he backed himself, might have done better giving it to Wellens. Takes the tackle, there's Wilkin. Here's Lomax again. Lomax almost through, an ankle tap was priceless then. It was from Ian Kirk, I think. Roby, Gaskell, another dab to the in-goal area, and again another goal line dropout coming up. This pressure is enormous.
Unbelievable, the Rhinos have kept St Helens out. Great work, good positioning there by Danny Maguire, it had to be.
Fifth goal line dropout in 5 minutes, either side half-time.
Well, if Leeds survive this onslaught, talk about lifting your spirits, and it will be a deject from the St Helens side to say, what on earth do we have to do?
You're exactly right, Steve-O. This goes one of two ways for Leeds. They grow an extra leg and grow confidence from defending so well, or they begin to crack because they're under tremendous pressure from this St Helens side.
And it's come straight from that kickoff from Jamie Foster. The little error from Ben Jones-Bishop. Here is Roby. St Helens looking for the opening, trying to prize a hole in this Leeds defence. Dixon! Seems to be reinforcements in numbers. Webb could have been penalised there.
Should have been.
Lomax back to Gaskell. Gaskell then to Wellens. Great defence that was from Danny Maguire. He just stood his ground. Melly. Roby gets it away to Pulatua. And Pulatua is hauled to the ground by Kevin Sinfield. It's another last tackle option here from Saints. Lomax to the in-goal area. Oh, the try, is it? Has a try come up here? I think it's Dixon. I think it's Andrew Dixon. It is. He is the man who is celebrating here. And Dixon scored a try in the grand final last year, and he hasn't scored one since.
He doesn't look all that confident, though. Lomax puts a kick in. They're all onside. That's fine. Scott Moore is in front, but I don't think he gets involved. Beautiful little dink through by Johnny Lomax. It's missed there, and it's bouncing into the in-goal area. And does Dixon get a hand to it? You know, I think he does.
This is going to sound terrible, Steve-O, because Scott Moore moves within 10.
He's certainly there lurking, isn't he? He was in front of the kicker.
We saw a try chalked off for Catalan Dragons.
Was there a knock on there as well?
Well, there's a ricochet. It's difficult. Ben Taylor, video ref tonight. This really is difficult. That's A-OK. Comes off Dixon's chest. This is the one that Eddie thinks might just have a bubble on it.
Oh, I'm not so sure now.
Yeah. Well, he looks pretty confident. Will Ben Taylor give him the nod? There is Scott Moore. He's definitely within. the 10 metres that is required when you are in front.
I mean, it's shocking, but we did see one chalked off for that very, very same call. He will look also and see if there is a knock on. I don't have a problem with the grounding, Eddie. I think he's grounded it.
Well, they're not looking at Scott Moore being offside, or they wouldn't get to the grounding, Brian.
Well, that's what I'm just questioning, why we're not.
Well, it does move his hand, but I think it moves up into his body, not to the ground. So therefore, I think he's recovered it. I think he'll go to a TRY.
But it's a massive call from Ben Thaler, this. The try is denied. It's a 20-metre restart. And Royce Simmons, well, frustration for Royce.
Certainly is. They've deemed the knock on. Otherwise, it would have been a penalty if they'd have classified Scott Moore was within the 10, which he was. They cannot believe it, and she's not on her own.
Have you ever seen a better defensive effort for 5 or 6 minutes than what we just saw from the Leeds Rhinos? That's almost worthy of picking up this prize.
Absolutely tremendous. Very, very solid and frustrating St. Helens. St. Helens can't let that get to them. They've got to build and grow confidence from the fact that they were down there for so long, and don't just go back into your shell.
Well, young and old, they're loving this. I don't know
That's
whether Royce Simmons is. That is a great kick. He's got to run this back, Wellens. It was interesting, though, 6 minutes before Leeds got their hand on the ball at the start of this second half.
And this one, Ben Jones-Bishop, will be even a big sigh of relief. Remember, he's the one that came up with the error. But we mentioned it, Eddie, you know, that really will just lift the spirits of Leeds.
Well, as Brian said, they'll grow another leg after all that.
And Saints, oh, that's a knock on.
Leeds have got it back. And there's a Saints player injured in the melee that followed this mistake from Graham.
I think it's Wellens.
It is Paul Wellens. He's back in the defensive line now, though.
This is a golden
Delaney
chance.
takes it forward.
Golden chance for the Rhinos to keep it moving. Get the link working.
Sinfield back inside to Webb. Badiris is there. Back it comes to Sinfield. Drop goal attempt from Sinfield. He's missed it.
Boy, that's an unusual option. Given the opportunity for Saints to get possession.
Well, he knows how tight this is going to be.
Well, Eddie, we don't often see this. Paul Wellens has taken off the field. I think he's picked up Kylie Lului's knees or elbows when he slid down to take a ball, and he's behind the goals now, getting escorted off the field. Kevin Sinfield disappointed with his miss, but Paul Wellens, he will be a loss if he can't continue.
Well, he doesn't look very well at the moment. He's behind the St. Helens goal line at the moment.
Yeah,
He's obviously picked up a nasty injury.
Yeah, he doesn't look well, does he?
Lomax. Oh, that was a lovely little ball on the inside.
Good work by Brett Delaney as well. There's a high kick from Lomax.
Well claimed this time by Ben Jones-Bishop. Wasn't going to make an error there.
Confident. Repaid his coach, Brian McDermott. You can see the thinking behind that, you know, only 6 points in front. That 1 point could be vital later in this particular match.
Well, few people know the game as well as Kevin Sinfield. He obviously feels it's going to be a low-scoring event.
Now they hang on. Leeds have just coughed up the possession. Here goes Shenton. Gary Wheeler has come on the field, by the way, for the injured Wellens, and Wheeler had to sit out the entire match last weekend. Here is Lomax. This is Gaskell. Wheeler wanted it fed wide. Gaskell hangs on. There he is, number 17, Gary Wheeler, dummy half. Be fresh as a daisy. Roby waits again. Now, Lomax. So close underneath the sticks, Johnny Lomax.
This defence from Leeds is heroic.
Roby. Ball stabbed towards the in-goal area. Webb takes it over the line with Makinson. He's claiming he got a hand on that, is he? It's off the chest of Webb. Another goal line dropout, the 6th.
This is unbelievable pressure, isn't it? Ooh, well, I tell you what.
Oh, that's a try.
That could have been a try, and it should be a try. Now, Webb has pushed it backwards, and the St. Helens players, Roby has gone to the official and said, hang on, This is a
And
try.
it not already hit Makinson's hand, Steve-O.
Well, we
Well, it
don't
needs
know.
a look.
It certainly needs a look, and that is good refereeing. Well, it was denied before, was Roy Simmons. This is going to be interesting.
Tennis.
Phil is right, there was a little bit of contact with Tommy Makinson's hand.
Well, I'd say okay. And again, Scott Moore, but I think on this occasion, Moore stands his ground, doesn't get involved.
It's this that will give us the view. Keep an eye on his left hand.
I'm surprised that Webb hasn't grounded the ball to make sure.
Well, he's tried to escort it off. Has the ball touched Tommy Makinson's hand there and being propelled forward?
I think you'd have to say yes, but they think it's a try.
You know what an effort that is. He's put into the fullback position because Paul Wellens is out. That is a huge effort.
Now, does Tommy Makinson, if he hits the ball, does it go backwards? And it goes backwards onto the body of Brent Webb. This is one of the most difficult video referee decisions.
He's touching his fingers as it goes forward there, though, Steve-O.
Yeah, but he's going back. The reason why it's going forward is Brent Webb's body is taking it there.
Well, I wouldn't like to be a video referee. I see what Phil's saying. The ball is going forwards from a St Helens point of view, and there are fingertips on it from Tommy Makinson.
Yeah, but Makinson, does he knock it back onto the body of Webb? It's Webb that's propelling it forward.
He's got a point, boys. He has got a point. It's gone. He's pushed it back against Brent Webb's body.
Well,
Brent
look
Webb's
at
body's propelled it forward,
and
he's then grounded it before it's hit the line.
And look at what they are looking at now, exactly that point, and this is why this video referee decision is taking so long, because this could change the course of history here.
I think that Makinson is trying to knock the ball backwards. It's Webb's body forward, but I am not the video referee. This is crucial.
Here's one for you. If the ball touches Brent Webb while he's touching the side of the end line, is it out?
Well, Ben Thaler has weighed up every option. He hasn't heard a word of what we've been saying, and they're praying. The St Helens fans are praying. Here we go. He's got the try. Tommy Makinson. I've never heard Old Trafford go so quiet at a grand final. Everybody held their breath. And Ben Thaler pushed the green button, and St Helens are back in this final.
Tremendous effort. Brent Webb, why on earth did he not ground the ball with his first opportunity? He has paid the big price. Heroic defence by the Rhinos here. But you could see that Webb had every opportunity to put the hand, clamp it down, dead in goal. It would have been a dropout. Instead, this game has come alight. Oh, no wonder they call it the greatest game of all.
Well, you watch that at full speed, and there's only one decision, and Bentham made the right decision.
Well, what's interesting is he made a decision, and then the players went to ask the referee to refer it on to the referee. We've almost got that tennis scenario here, where you can appeal against one of the decisions. I'll tell you what else was a brave decision by Tommy Makinson to kick that. Brave and skillful. Wonderful play for a young man.
Now then, Jamie Foster has got to kick this, and St Helens will be level. And Jamie Foster has kicked it, and St Helens are level.
Well,
Tommy Makinson, 19 years of age, and he came of age in a split second at Old Trafford.
it's amazing, isn't he? He had a very, very shaky start to this game. Leeds were pinpointing their defence down their left-hand side, and he has sent the home fans absolutely cracking.
What a game.
That decision matched the occasion.
Absolutely. Well, he's pushed into full-back Eddie. Gary Wheeler's gone into that left centre position. Brian McDermott will scarcely believe what he's seen. Brent Webb tried, Steve-O's made a good point. Why did he not ground it? He's tried to escort it out. He's taken that gamble that full-backs sometimes take. If he grounds the ball, Steve-O, yet another dropout. If he's brave enough to guide it out, then they get the ball back. On that occasion, Tommy Makinson punished him.
It's an amazing thing now. Leeds have to make sure that they don't fall apart. The momentum all of a sudden has switched around. They've got to be careful, got to go back to basics. And you can see the difference. That defence is superb. at a time when it looked as though Leeds' defence was going to save the day.
Well, St Helens have come out and they've hit Leeds with everything bar the kitchen sink. This is a tremendous grand final. Tremendous. Clarkson takes the tackle. Burrow is there. Here's Peacock. Well, if Leeds grew a leg, Brian, after all that defence, St Helens have got the leg back.
Well, they're a confident side. They've had a tremendous record going into this game. They're playing well. They just needed to get their hands on the ball. And if you didn't score with all those dropouts that you forced, you're certainly going to tire out the Leeds defence, and they got the reward on that occasion. But Eddie, let me tell you, there's plenty of twists left in this game.
Oh, the road to Old Trafford's been cruel all year, and it's going to be crueler from here on in. And Ben Jones-Bishop got a bit of a bang in the face, I think, then, in making that first tackle, not that one. He's in a bit of a groggy state. Wilkin has the sniff of blood, and it's not from Ben Jones-Bishop. Here is Graham.
One thing that Leeds have done, they've kept John Wilkin very quiet indeed. His runs out wide and some of this defence. Oh, and then a ricochet in the head. It's a tough old game. I'm starting to shake. It's getting to me.
Lomax, crossfield and high, and Wheeler's after this, and Ben Jones-Bishop's dropped it, and...
Be a knock on by Leeds.
Makinson, he swooped on that, and if he'd have taken it in, Makinson is 20 on Monday. There was the most glorious present beckoning him.
Yeah, it's certainly a knock on from Ben Jones-Bishop, and it'll be head and feed to the Saints.
I think Leeds are appealing that Ben Jones-Bishop was taken out in mid-air.
Well, he never took control of it, Eddie. You've got to control it before you can qualify that as a penalty.
Well, there was nothing wrong. There was no interference. What happened was Ben Jones-Bishop, as you pointed out, took a heavy knock to the head. Probably praying they didn't kick to him on the last tackle. They went that way and he wasn't able to reel it in.
Here's a glorious opportunity for the Saints with Shenton! Michael Shenton scores for St Helens, and Leeds' world has come crumbling down in 5 minutes at Old Trafford. Michael Shenton, the England international. It's his first Super League Grand Final. Michael Shenton was relegated with Castleford 5 years ago. He's been impressive in the 2 wins against Wigan to get here, and he has just nudged the Saints ahead.
And what an effort there by Michael Shenton, not only scoring the try, but would you believe it, he has completed 19 tackles. Leeds have just poured down in towards his centre position, but he has been equal to the task. This was Saints of old, the run around with Roby and Johnny Lomax, and Shenton escapes the clutches to go straight in. It's a run around that creates it. See the hesitation there. They've had to go for it. He's come off the line as Ryan Hall, and the expression on Michael Shenton is worth $1 million. The final pass from Lee Gaskell. Sensational stuff.
He's watched every minute of that on the big screen.
Well, Gaskell taking the ball to the line, Eddie. He put confusion in the minds of the Leeds defenders. Rob Burrow not backing Carl Ablett, I should say, to be able to make the tackle on Gaskell. Rob Burrow decided to come in, and then it was a simple case of numbers. You've got to have faith in the man inside you. Carl Ablett's a competent defender. I'm pretty sure he would have made the tackle.
And here's a big kick for young Jamie Foster. And he's missed it. 12-8, Saints. Michael Shenton's try.
I'm sure that the Leeds players, with their experience, will be talking about trying to shift the momentum in this match. I think a try from a scrum is the best thing. It's beauty and simplicity, executed at speed. Gaskell there finding that pass. Shenton didn't even need the overlap.
Interesting change by the Leeds Rhinos. Lauatiti is on. It's his 200th and final appearance for Leeds, and what a stage to make it.
So many fairy tales out there, but will they come to fruition? That is a big question now. both sides have got power plays, both sides have got the quality and the skill factor. We saw there Johnny Lomax in the combination with James Roby was quite superb, and the run around, the confidence. Gaskell with a great kick.
Oh,
It's
this is a 40-20!
kick.
What a kick from Lee Gaskell.
The momentum has shifted.
And James Graham, I'm just watching him because Scott Moore was celebrating as this ball went over the sideline here, and the 40-20 was confirmed. He was the first man, Scott Moore. He jumped up, he punched the air, he shouted at his players, and James Graham just ambled up and just put his hand out and said, calm down, let's just calm it down.
And talk about being calm, these fans certainly are not.
He is a Scouser, of course, he should say calm down.
And again, they tried to run around with the same two people.
Soliola.
I'd like to have a tenor that at one point during this game, before we finish, James Roby will go on a little solo run.
Here's Moore, who's getting excited.
Calm down, Eddie.
Can't on grand final night, Steve-O. Lomax, Gaskell still.
Great work by Maguire.
A penalty, offside, Leeds.
Oh, they'll take the two. They've got to take the two.
Well, what is Roy Simmons saying? Nothing. Just look who's behind him as well, by the way. That's Adam Fogarty, making a life for himself as an actor.
They're going for
Halifax, there he is, Big Adam.
Gorgeous George, wasn't he, in that movie?
Yeah, he's a guy you don't want to meet in the dark alley. Boy, he looks calm, doesn't he, Roy Simmons? Very, very calm indeed. But I'm sure deep inside that body, his heart must be going 50 to the dozen. That's a big call by the referee, Phil Bentham, but he got it right. They were well and truly offside. I must say, Eddie, the officials in this playoff, in the latter part, the two semi-finals, and tonight, they've been outstanding.
Well, Stuart Cummings had as big a decision of his team for this as the two coaches for the players out there on the field, because Bentham and Ganson, lately, fantastic. And they've worked as a team, the video referees, and Phil Bentham gets the nod. Wembley and Old Trafford, he's right behind Jamie Foster here, watching this. Watching as Foster increases the lead. It's 14-8. Well, is this the day for Saints?
Just look at the speed and urgency here now from Kevin Sinfield. He's ready to kick this. They want to up the tempo now.
The Simpsons are in town. We've seen...
It's
out on the full.
Make haste, not waste. That's unusual from that player. There's not many more experience than him on the field, and you would not have thought this would come from Kevin Sinfield.
Well, you made the point, Phil, that the fact that they were rushing it. They went through, they wanted to get on with the game, but sometimes you've got to be calm and collect, and I'm afraid on that occasion, Kevin Sinfield just had a bit of a brainstorm.
Well, here's the big question for Jamie Foster. Does he try and kick a goal?
I'd go to the corner.
Well, he's saying I'm going to have a go. Yes, he is.
Well, he doesn't lack confidence, does he, as a player?
I heard him on the ref's mic, then he turned around and he said to James Graham, who's obviously the captain now, Wellens is off, what are we going to do?
Well, I remember about 20 years ago, Wigan had a player called Frano Botica playing at Anfield in a World Club Challenge, similar situation, and he kicked a goal and landed it. Now then, 20 years later, does Foster have the distance and accuracy to put 2 more points on the board?
Well, that was only the mere World Club Challenge, Phil. This is the grand final.
Well, it's a big kick. This is a long, long distance. And you know what? I'm going to back him out. I'm going to back him out.
He'll get this one.
Well, does Jamie Foster have just a hint of a look of David Beckham about him? And he's on Beckham's biggest stage.
Eddie, he's got to go over the bar, not underneath it.
He was practicing exactly this earlier, look.
That's on the 40-metre line.
He was practicing this very kick.
He's got to find another 10 metres, Eddie.
He had no pressure then. It's on its way. He's kicked it off the halfway line. Well, if Kevin Sinfield, according to Gary Hetherington, is rugby's finest kicker, this fellow, he is rivaling him all the way.
Certainly
There's
is.
the practice. and it came off. Practice makes perfect.
Absolutely spot on. But they cannot just relax for 1 second.
Isn't that brilliant? Isn't it brilliant to have that in your side, that 50 metres out from the try line you can kick a penalty?
What about the confidence from Makinson to kick through, Foster to kick for the try? There is just no lack of ambition amongst the youngsters that St Helens put on the field.
And you've also got to praise the official, you know, because Bentham, it looked as though he was just giving a dropout underneath the sticks. Remember when Brent Webb really should have made it dead in goal, which allowed Dixon to score that try, and it really has lifted. Unbelievable. Oh, that's a penalty. Silly play.
That just takes the pressure off.
Yeah. Oh, Scott Moore, what on earth was he thinking here? All he had to do was go low. You don't give the opposition a sniff when you race to a 16-8 lead.
They have ground this out, Eddie. They set their stall out early. They kicked early, completed their sets, and it's got them in this position. They've continued to kick early.
And Shenton's down.
Yes, he is. Shenton's hurt, and they've already lost Wellens.
Well, he's not moving, and this is bad. I think he may have broken his arm.
Joey Hayes' signal, I think, tells its own story.
Sadly, I think that is a break. Oh, he goes down straight away, and you can see that he's holding it.
Well, he was sent home early, wasn't he, from the Four Nations, injured last year, and he's injured again here.
I would hope play doesn't go back there, Eddie.
Here is Maguire. Maguire down that side, flicks the ball away. Oh, he's in touch, foot in touch.
Well, the St Helens fans don't like it.
I'm not sure about this, Steve, but we've still got a man on the ground getting treatment. If the play comes back down here, he's broke his arm possibly, and lay on the ground with two physios beside him.
I know what you're saying, Brian, but according to the rules, if he's not in any way involved with dangerous play while the play goes on...
He's possibly broken his arm.
It doesn't matter. The rules and regulations state that you do not stop the game.
This is a sad sight.
It is. It's shocking.
He was walking on cloud nine not long ago when he scored the try, and then this happens.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a dislocated elbow. He's dislocated his elbow. He's not broken his arm. He's caught it badly and he's dislocated his elbow. That is an incredibly painful injury.
Well, we think so. We hope that that's the case. We hope it's not a break.
Well, that's the second back that they've lost here now. Welland's already off the field. Shenton, there's only James Robin made more tackles for St Helens than Michael Shenton in this match to date. Massive restructure here now of the players they've got left.
Absolutely. And Brian, I mean, if it is a dislocated elbow, that's probably worse than a break.
It's a bad one, Eddie. It's a bad one if he's dislocated it. They got to stand on his arm sometimes to pull it back in. The doctors, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Poor Michael Shenton, he's hit some form. What a way to leave it. He'll just pray now that his teammates can go on and lift this trophy. It'll provide some consolation to the player.
Well, you talk about youngsters, how can they handle the pressure? And you look at Lee Gaskell and Johnny Lomax, they know they've got to get their
another 40-20. No, just
made
short.
it, but it's a good kick. They'll go down there. Roby obviously has taken charge out on the field of play, and it's good thinking by the hooker.
The possession stat is unbelievable. 79% for St Helens in this second half so far. 21% for Leeds.
But you think that's going to even itself up, Eddie. My mind goes back to round one, the start of this season, when Leeds scored 4 tries in the final quarter. In fact, 4 tries in 18 minutes to come from the dead and beat Bradford. They don't have to do as much today. They have to do something pretty special. They've got time and they've got the knowledge that over the last 5 or 10 years, they've finished games better than everybody else in this comp.
And that's the reason why Brian McDermott has thrown out the Ali Lau-Titi. He's barking the instructions into the walkie-talkie. Pressure. Listen to the crowd.
So Leeds, Saints with 2 men down, 2 first-choice men, Wellens and Shenton.
You've got to look towards Danny Maguire or Rob Barrow to pull something out of the hat. They're capable.
Oh, and there's another, and it's Scott Moore who's down, and he's just groggily making his way back into the defensive line. Brian McDermott anxiously looking on. Here is Webb! Webb will score for Leeds! He snaked the arm out, it's not given yet.
Well, does he think there's a double movement?
There's no double movement, never in a million years.
Yeah, but the referee just wants to make sure. Brent Webb, he's pretty confident. Head-on shot will tell you that's a try. The ball carrying arm didn't hit the deck in the field of play. That is wonderful. Leeds are back in it.
And if ever a man wanted a moment like that,
yep,
after the Tommy Makinson try up the other end, it's Brent Webb.
He's repaid his coach Brian McDermott big time. It's way out to the left-hand side, and it's a pressure kick at the end from Kevin Sinfield. But
try is given.
It's a 4 points that Leeds needed so badly.
Brent Webb, the try scorer. He got a try in the 2007 Grand Final win against St Helens here as well.
It was good work. Beautiful dummy. Now remember, that would be the position that Michael Shenton would have been in. In the end, they've had to push Soliola out there. So they pulled him out of the second row to take up Shenton's position. And the way that Shenton's been tackling in 19.
Now then, this is a kick, this is a kick. And that is a kick from Sinfield. 16-14. We're in for a bit of a finish.
Well, Phil profiled this man in his build-up to the game, Brent Webb. He's at his very best when he gets his hands on the ball early. Taking the line on this occasion. He's very, very strong. He's a very skillful player. At times, he's played in the 6th position for Leeds. On that occasion, he's come up trumps for them.
Well, now it's the St Helens supporters to wait and wonder. 16-14. And just over a quarter of an hour to go.
Under the conditions, Eddie, this has been a classic.
Went backwards.
Yeah, they got away with it.
The most relieved man in this particular part of Manchester.
Good job, he turned the body.
79,000 or thereabouts are here. And they are being treated to one of the great grand finals.
Without a doubt, Eddie, and as I say, wet conditions, we anticipated it would be a grind all the way through, but that has been brought about by some superb defence from both sides.
Well, Danny Badiris was interviewed after his man of the match performance last week, and he was asked how he felt. He said, well, it's just sport. I don't know what to say. How many twists and turns does sport offer us? What drama?
He's gone for a 40-20 there, Sinfield, and
it was
Foster
a poor one.
Managed to stop it.
Go on. Move! Back up, Leeds! Go! 2! Move! Hold, no, hold. Go, 2. 3rd! Move! Wait! Go! Good. Well done, Ryan. 4! Move!
And there is a very angry young man, James Graham. He's been withdrawn by his coach, and well, he was asking the man who held up the interchange signal.
Well, that's amazing.
Why?
Well, and I'm questioning that as well, because he's taken over the captaincy. Wellens is off the field of play.
Okay.
That's a poor kick.
Well, that's what Roy Simmons is paid to do, to be a coach and to make those decisions. And quite possibly, he wants James Graham on for the last 5 minutes or so if he needs him to finish off this game for St Helens.
Well, as you say, Roy Simmons makes the decisions, and James Graham, he's on the touchline. He's standing on the touchline in the technical area, and well, he's just reminding Roy Simmons that he's still here and he still wants to be part of this. Then Jones-Bishop.
They're getting into the swing of the things. Brent Webb linking into the three-quarter line. The confidence is going through the bodies of this Rhinos outfit. Alalau Titi is a man with an offload, and that's a penalty.
Two-pointer coming up from Sinfield, surely.
Yep. That's what I'd do, and you can see it was ripped away, and they've just lost the plot, I'm afraid, of St Helens. He's furious.
Well, he is. And Roy Simmons is furious as well that this penalty was given away. And Brian McDermott is trying to remain cool, calm, and collected.
I don't know how these coaches are doing it.
How does Kevin Sinfield slow everything down in his body now and prepare for this kick? He's just been driving the ball up, tackling, all the pressure. He's captain of the side. He now has to calm himself down, zone all this other noise out, these 70-odd thousand people here, and focus solely on this kick, focus solely on getting that ball over those posts. It's a wonderfully difficult skill, but he is a master at it.
Well, the captain of Leeds in their 6th grand final. And Sinfield has kicked the goal. They're level. 16-all in the 2011 grand final. That has to be won in the last 10 minutes and maybe in extra time and golden point.
I think we'll have a drop goal attempt for more than once, and there you see James Graham, lift yourselves, okay, we're not behind, we're level. Sinfield again with that side, this will be swirling around.
But he's got a great kick-off in him, this fella. There it is, high and high, look at the hang time. Oh, look at the hang time, they've got it back, not for long. Gaskell, he slid over the sideline by Ben Jones. He was tackled in the air, but it was off a bounce ball.
Yep, so it doesn't take effect. Well, he's gone high and low, this young fella. Oh, he's had a good game, hasn't he, Phil Bentham?
And Lee Gaskell just asking Phil Bentham, and he's just saying, yeah, bouncing ball, it was off a bouncing ball.
Now, Eddie, this is where mistakes get punished. The pressure comes on as the clock is ticking. The clock might end up beating you, and any mistake that you possibly will make cost your team a grand final. That creeps into your head sometimes. You got to try and push it out.
Suddenly Leeds then, having got back level, they have upped the ante here. 10.5 minutes to go, 16-all.
It's all about control in defence as well. You've got to make sure that... Oh,
here he goes! Here goes Burrow! Oh, brilliant! Brilliant! Ryan Hall! Brilliant try! Engineered by Burrow, scored by Ryan Hall. Outstanding rugby league. Absolutely outstanding. And Rob Burrow, I think he might be going home with the Man of the Match award tonight.
I agree with you, Eddie. It's all about that impact player. The man, we mentioned it, didn't he? That it could be Danny Maguire or maybe the super sub, Rob Burrow. He did it in the first half. He's done it again. He threw the dummy. Did you think he'd made the wrong option? Perhaps for a minute, or a second, should I say. But look at this, a tired attempt there by number 14, Scott Moore. And what a position by Ryan Hall, right in front of all the Rhinos supporters. Mr. Superman, beep beep, what a dummy, what an offload, and what a TRY.
It's created brilliantly, but it took some scoring on this stage.
That's just got everything in it. Rob Burrow, he's had contributions in 2 magnificent tries. It wasn't just his break, it was his patience to hold on to the ball. That is superb.
Well, they're celebrating. It was just in front of them where he scored. And now Kevin Sinfield. Well, that's the degree of difficulty that he's got. But how often have we seen the greatest goal kicker in Leeds club's history kick these? And this is a pressure cooker that he's kicking this one in. Missed it. Not over yet. Not over yet. 20 points to Leeds. 16 to Saints. The team in 5th have nudged themselves ahead.
Graham was back on, but this was quite superb. Oh, look at that dummy. Sweet. And this is what he did in the first half. In and out, you can see there, Tony Puletuya, just slow. The twinkle toes. He knew as soon as he dived that he'd slide over. Hold on to your seats. This is going to be a great finish.
And the kickoffs are targeting Ben Jones-Bishop. He managed to hang on to that. Wheeler got to him though. Saints are hunting the mistake from the Leeds Rhinos. Here's Maguire. This is Jamie Jones-Buchanan.
Brian McDermott, the Rhinos coach, to get the message on. It is important we get a good kick downfield. not straight down the throats of anybody. Make sure it hits terra firma.
Badiris, he goes down on the last, just over 30 metres away from their own line. Sinfield. Oh, and he got the ball away to Webb somehow. And he's got Maguire inside, he's got Zakardika outside, the chase is on. And Melly to the rescue.
Great work, absolutely superb. They applied the pressure to two kickers. First Maguire, and then Kevin Sinfield, and this man, Brent Webb, the fullback, said, give it to me. Hardacre, how's that for being cool? Put it straight in, they got the numbers back. Sensational. This could seal it, because they now can apply the pressure once again. Big fella, Francis Melly, got the boot to it.
The goal line dropout was short. Here's Peacock. You know, they've bucked the trend, haven't they, this year? Well and truly to get to this grand final. They've won 5 in a row since Wembley.
You're right, Teddy, the momentum has gone with them, and each game they've improved, haven't they?
Now then, this is Ablett. Badiris scampers in at dummy half, 7 minutes to go. A 4-point advantage for Leeds Rhinos. Jamie Jones-Buchanan.
Looks like Burrow's going to take the first receiver. No, they're on the blind side. It's good work.
It's Ablett. It's Ablett. He scored! And Carl Ablett could well have won the grand final for the Leeds Rhinos. St Helens are dejected. History is coming back to repeat itself and to haunt them. They could not keep him out. They could not keep Carl Ablett out. He missed the first 2 playoff games this year. He returned and got a try at Warrington, and he has come to Old Trafford and he has scored the try that might easily will win this grand final.
I think they've got it. It was a marvellous play, wasn't it, on that blind side by Danny Badiris, who's on his way back to Australia after this game. Badiris, they just had the man, they couldn't get him back. That is a brilliant finish. Dejected look on all the Saints players. Upper body strength by Ablett. And that says it all. The dream has gone. Poof.
The Leeds have shown this season a resilience, not just in this match, but in the season. When Keith Senior got injured halfway through the year, they haven't panicked, but they've put Carl Ablett in that left centre position. He's grown into the role and he scored what would probably be the winning try in this match. At the start of this half, they had 5 minutes without possession, but they never ever gave in, and that resilience has earned them another grand final.
3 tries in 11 minutes for Leeds. Sinfield with another difficult conversion attempt from way out there on the touchline. Can he add the extras? Yes, he can, Kevin Sinfield. He adds 2 more points to the Carl Ablett try, and Ablett has scored a try at Wembley in a defeat and a try at Old Trafford in what looks like being a victory in the past 5 or 6 weeks. And Gary Hetherington, the CEO, well, maybe he's on the phone on a social network site telling everybody that we have won the grand final.
Well, it's a long, long way. Barry and Terry covered it in the preview since that Catalan game that we featured on Sky Sports. Brian McDermott mentioned it, Kevin Sinfield mentioned it. He said enough is enough. We were mugs that day, our season had to change, and change it they did. What a run-in they've had. I think they'll go on and win this final. It doesn't take a genius to work that out. But they have been tremendous, and the spirit and self-confidence in this side is a joy to behold.
And you've got to pay credit to Brian McDermott. He has gone through the horrors. There was a period at the start of this season when a lot of the Rhinos fans who are celebrating now, they wanted to get rid of him. They said he was not good enough. Boy, they've changed their tune now.
Peacock, they don't want it with Peacock on this last tackle. Burrow gets it. Play on, it's play on, it's play on, it's play on. Leeds are trapped deep in their own half. They couldn't get that kick away.
That's a turnover, a little bit of a... Well, it's only handbags. Sheer frustration. Well, thankfully no one's throwing punches, they're just pulling away. Bailey peels away from the ruckus. And not surprisingly, Brian McDermott says, get off.
Well, it's at the moment, with 3.5 minutes to go and an 8-point deficit, referee's taking reports from the touch judge. At the moment, it's an Old Trafford hoodoo for Saints, isn't it? It really is.
I think we've got to give them some credit, though, as a club. Without the two main players, Kyle Eastman and Leon Price, they've made it back again to a sixth grand final. I think sometimes we think that only the team that lift the trophy are the winners, but St Helens for me this season, that's a tremendous success that they've done.
And here's a knock on by Roby, and the backslapping amongst the Leeds players. I think they know now that that cup is going back to Headingley.
Oh, I think that's a peacock twist. I don't think that should have been, and make a wonder that James Roby got up from the ground and said completely amazed, but they consented on the sidelines. Brian McDermott, in his first season as coach of the Leeds Rhinos, will know that they will be going up the steps and picking up that wonderful trophy.
Yes, he's silenced a few critics, hasn't he, since the Catalan game, as we've all been mentioning, and as indeed he himself has mentioned in the build-up to this grand final. I think he was at his lowest ebb then, but he will not be thinking about that right now. He will be punching the air, he'll be cock-a-hoop.
Absolutely. Again, going back to that Catalan game, when the final whistle went, he stood still in the pitch, no players around him, just wanted to be left to his own thoughts. And well, what a change he's had at the club. Possibly not a change, they say all the time they haven't been doing anything differently. They just needed to have a bit more belief in what their coach was telling them to do and be a little bit smarter on the field. Well, it certainly worked wonders for them.
Well, it's a night of history this tonight, and Rob Burrow has just been announced as the man of the match for the second time, and he joins a list of only 3 players: Alan Tate, St Helens ex-captain Chris Joynt, and Wigan's Andy Farrell, who have now won the honour twice, and he's the first substitute to win the man of the match award here, as Lauatiti tries to get the ball down.
I don't think he has.
Well, the referee's going to hand it upstairs. Let me just tell you about this: the first sub to win the man of the match award in this match since Sam Panapa of Wigan in 1994. Then, of course, it was the Premiership final.
Well, it was a good tackle by Ablett, wasn't it? Lomax trying to get it away, and Lauatiti playing his final game.
Has he just made the fairy tale complete?
Pretty difficult to tell from there. Ben Thaler, it's been a difficult night for him. I can't see hitting terra firma as yet, but they won't mind. Even if it's struck off, they'll play the ball. Maybe we'll get a better view from this angle.
Clough is
underneath.
It on Clough. He's plunked it on top of Clough.
But they won't mind. They know the seconds are ticking away. It's been a remarkable performance by this Leeds outfit. Listen to their fans singing.
This will be turned down, though. First tackle to the attack, which is the Leeds Rhinos. There is Brian McDermott, and he's a British coach at Old Trafford, and British coaches are a rare breed these days, but he becomes a British winning coach after Ellery Hanley and Brian Noble.
I'd go for the one here, Eddie, just to put the icing on the cake.
And bring you a smile.
Yep, always do.
I don't think they're interested, Steve-O. Here's Lauatiti. Lauatiti is on his last couple of minutes in a Leeds jersey, will be at Wakefield next year. 200th appearance for the Rhinos in the grand final. Kirk.
Where's Sinfield? He's back.
He is, and he's moving further back now.
He's going for it. Come on, Kevin.
No. Hardacre wide. Brilliant ball to Ben Jones-Bishop. St Helens muscle up, though, and keep him out. That will do Leeds, because that scrum will have to be formed. Oh, it's a handover, of course, on the last.
Yeah.
A minute away and counting.
You throw something else into the equation as well, Eddie, is the fact they lost 2 props in the middle of the season. They let Luke Burgess go to South Sydney, and Ben Cross was released to join the Wigan club. So he had confidence in the troops that he's got out there, and they have certainly paid him back in spades.
Saints keeping it alive, though, as only Saints can.
Was the turning point, though, Eddie, the fact that he put Rob Burrow on the bench. It's 9 games ago now since he made that strategic decision.
Hardaker has got the pace, and Hardaker will elude Foster and will finish it. And Brian McDermott and Jimmy Lowes, they have won the grand final at the first attempt. Zach Hardaker, a hat-trick against Huddersfield on the road to Old Trafford. And a hat-trick in the grand final to finally nail the Rhinos' colours to the mast. The final siren goes in the background. Leeds have won. It's been an outstanding performance, this.
Certainly is. They were trying to force the ball, St. Helens, give them credit for that. But Zach Hardaker, he will remember this for a long, long time. Gaskell tried something different. Hardaker, it was a gift in the end. He knew that it'd slide over. Celebration time for the man, Brian McDermott and Jimmy Lowes. They've seen success as a player. Now they achieve success as coaches. An emotional time, and what a wonderful time for Brian McDermott.
And what a moment for Zach Hardaker as well. 2 tries in a losing championship grand final with Featherstone last year. The last try in the 2011 Super League grand final. Sinfield adds the extras. That's only important for the margin, and it's a big, big winning margin in the end. Leeds have won it 32-16. And James Graham consoles the youngsters on his farewell appearance. And Kieran Cunningham and Brian McDermott, that is the spirit that is in this game. They are enemies for 80 minutes, but there is such camaraderie off the field.
Certainly is, Eddie, and I must say, what a classic game this has been.
Sensational final. Sensational.
One of the best. Bailey just urging the fans on. Boy, the celebrations over in Yorkshire will be absolutely massive.
Well, St Helens are haunted by the Leeds Rhinos. James Graham will be glad to get on the plane and go to Australia. He won't be facing them in the grand final again. But these young players who have carried Saints colours so brilliantly this year, they will keep on going in 2012. But the champions are the Leeds Rhinos. An outstanding team performance. They had to come from behind. St Helens, of course, they lost a couple of crucial players to injury, but there is the man of the match for the second time, and it's Rob Burrow who's with Rod.
Rob, well done, man of the match. There's a bottle of champagne. I don't think that'll last very long tonight. Let me tell you first of all that every single member of the media here tonight voted for you as man of the match. It was 100%. It's never happened before.
All right, well, I'm humbled by that. The boys were fantastic tonight. We really dug deep. It's been a tough season, but you know, it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
The try you scored in the first half, they're calling it the best try ever scored in a grand final. Let's ask you first of all, was it the best you've ever scored?
I don't know, it's probably the most important, but I don't know about the best try. I don't really care about tries, but the win's the main thing, that's the main thing.
The break in the second half and the dummy for Ryan Hall's try was crucial, wasn't it?
It was a big turner, but you know, all credit to Saints, they put us under a lot of cost there, but you know, the character in the team would never give in, and you know, thankfully we got another ring.
Well, you've got £100 for the charity of your choice. Where will that go for us, Rob?
That's going to the RTS and my mate John.
Well done, Rob, well played. Kevin's here. Kevin, may I be the first to congratulate you on captaining 5 grand final winning teams.
Awesome. What a night, what a season we've had. Our boys were outstanding again. Thanks to all our fans. I know that the time in that second half we're really struggling, and Saints were well on top, but they didn't give up on us. They kept cheering. Thankfully we had enough to come back up.
Kevin, Gary Hetherington called your win at Warrington the Rhinos' finest hour. Do you think this is actually the Rhinos' finest hour after that amazing comeback when the game looked lost in the second half?
I'm not sure. There's a lot of emotion running through. Like I said, what a year. Who'd have thought we'd have come here tonight? After everybody written us off, come here and win this. And whether it's our finest hour or not, the lads all put their hands up tonight, and really pleased and proud of them all.
When you lost at Catalan, I don't think anybody would have given any hope of even being here, let alone winning. That's turned out to be a very important result in a strange sort of way, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. It weren't just Catalan. There were a few places where we got a good hiding. We got our bottom smacked, and it took us a while to get going, but it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And thankfully, we had enough today.
Thanks, Kevin. A truly great achievement. Well done.
Thank you very much.
A fantastic achievement, because he has led Leeds to 5 grand final victories in 8 seasons, has Kevin Sinfield. And they're so right to track things back to that day in July, and we were there with them in Perpignan when they were beaten 38-18 by the Catalan Dragons. Their top 8 status looked in jeopardy at that moment. And there are 2 great warriors of this game, Jamie Peacock and Brian McDermott. And Rob Burrow goes up. 37 journalists here, and 37 journalists voted for that man as the Harry Sunderland Award winner, as the man of the match. And Brian McDermott, how much does he deserve this moment? He has had to keep the faith from start to finish. Maguire and Sinfield and Burrow, they've been the heartbeat of this Leeds team over the summer era. Referees getting their medals and mementos of this big day. Steve Ganson, the reserve official. Andrew Haig, the man from the Engage Mutual, who finished their sponsorship of this wonderful competition this year, and they have certainly saved their best final till the last. He's alongside Richard Lewis. And that's what all the fuss has been about since the beginning of February. Deserving champions, Phil, from 5th.
Of course, that's the rules, everyone knew it. None of the players, the fans or the coaches have any complaints. The competition's been completely accepted. And congratulations to them. Just a word again for St Helens, you know, they are a remarkable club. They keep getting back here, although they haven't won it. Tomorrow morning, some of their staff will be taking their under-16s and 17s on a tour to Australia. They've done it now 4 times. And so many of the players who are playing here today will actually go on that and come back and play in a grand final in 4 and 5 years' time. Their forward planning is exceptional. And I think we've got to pay credit to just how hard they work as a club in continuing to develop young players like Tommy Makinson and Lee Gaskell.
I don't think any of them are particularly interested in yet another loser's medal in a grand final. They've tried now 4 times in a row to get past the Leeds Rhinos, and they've suffered heartbreak each and every time. They lost Wellens, they lost Shenton, who of course has not featured in this presentation ceremony.
It certainly had an effect, Eddie, but I think the fact that it will be a bitter pill to swallow is that they knew they raced into a 16-8 lead, and perhaps it looked as though the fortunes were going to change the thing, and the man of the match was the most important, Eddie. Rob Burrow turned it all around.
Well, 37 votes to 0, that sums it up really. There he is, yet another winner's ring for these players, but a first for Zach Hardaker. And any minute now, and Ali Lauatiti says farewell as John Wilkin looks absolutely crestfallen. Ali Lauatiti says farewell with a grand final winner's ring in his pocket and the title of champions of the Super League 2011. And Danny Badiras heads home to Australia with exactly the same. He won in Australia 2001, he's won in the UK 2011. Kevin Sinfield, interviewed by Rod, has now got his breath back. Here he goes.
To all our coaching team, Graham Mack, to all our players, especially the guys who didn't play today, our squad members, thank you, it's been a pleasure. To our fans, you're the best in the world. criticise this team, tonight's for you. Thank you.
Well, he's had that speech to do many times. That was passion. And Leeds are the champions of 2011. A fantastic moment. They were outplayed for 20 minutes at Wembley. Since then, they've never looked back. I know they lost the Challenge Cup final to Wigan, but for an hour they were the better side. And through this playoff campaign, Steve-O, they have been a champion team.
Yeah, sometimes when you're being classified as the underdogs, having no chance whatsoever. And their performance, as you say, in the latter part of the season has been outstanding. They will celebrate and have every right to do so. In the early part of the year, of course, they had the problems with Jamie Peacock and Danny Maguire, who were injured. But soon as they started to regain their fitness, it was Leeds, and the performance tonight was superb.
We have to take our hats off to them. It was just, well, from start to finish, it was champion stuff.
Look, if that's the way you build a season, Leeds and Rhinos have just shown everybody how to do it. Terrible start to the season by their own admission. They've built and believed in themselves. Tight-knit bunch of players, very, very disciplined, very eloquent players. Never any trouble coming from the Leeds Rhinos club, and that's a just reward. You get the Leeds haka led by Jamie Jones Buchanan.
Yeah, the Leeds haka, you're right. And so many British players in this Leeds team, so many British players in the St Helens team. A fantastic finale to another wonderful Super League season.
Brian, absolutely terrific. It has been the most incredible game to end an incredible season for the Leeds Rhinos. Just sum up how you're feeling.
Yeah, I don't think I've got long enough. I'm just that proud and honoured to be involved with a group of people like this. I'm that pleased for the players. I'm that pleased for the club. And yeah, you know, I'm over the moon. The fans have been brilliant, you know, towards the back end of the year. They've just been a big part of what we do. And they were a big part there tonight. There's a few people I'd like to thank, but I don't think I've got long enough. So, yeah, it's just brilliant. I can't really put it into words, actually.
Brian, earlier this week you revealed you were using Rudyard Kipling's poem "If" as motivation, and there's a famous line in that poem: "If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you." Is that what you've had to do this season personally?
We've been doing that for a long time. And that's belief, and that's faith, and, you know, that's courage in your own convictions, and it's tough, you know, when you get questioned like we've been, and I'm not saying that people were wrong to question us because we haven't been great this year, but you shouldn't doubt these people here. You shouldn't doubt some individuals, some characters in this group. I'm pleased for people like Gary Edmondson, Chris Gibson, Rob Oates, people who run the club, who have shown that much faith and kept control when everybody else were doubting as well. So it's not just about the players. I'm not happy for Leeds Rhinos as a club, and all the fans and all the players.
And in saying that, was it tough to keep your faith when St Helens hit you with those punches in the second half, and suddenly from a game you were controlling, you're 8 points behind?
Well, that's why it feels good now, because, yeah, of course, you start to question, and we were questioning throughout the year, and just in this game, credit to St Helens, they're an outstanding team, and, you know, for us to beat them as such a quality team on a stage like this, it couldn't be any better, and I mean that with the greatest respect to Saints. I don't mean it as a sense of poking fun at Saints. It's just I want to be a team that does things in the right way, and I've got a lot of respect for Saints as a club and the coach and their owner.
Well, well done, Brian. Just finally to paraphrase some of Rudyard's wise words, well done on meeting with triumph, not disaster.
Yeah, but I think it says something about don't get carried away with yourself as well.